Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus the Riven Realms. I've been out to Avernum and back again. I even went all the way back to Devon and then back to Sunrock, just to kill some time for the artist guy to do his thing. We're almost back to 2,000 bros, which is pretty good, because I think we dropped below 1,800 for a second there. But literally nothing important happened. I think I fought one guy, like a Jacques horde, or something. It was not interesting, so I'm glad I did that. I did realize there is a local arena. Did we do that last episode? Maybe we did do that last episode. Anyway, it's been like 5 days since I've recorded a Vagrus video. You'll have to forgive me. But let us go pick up our friend Calidisthar. I'm not even gonna try. Oh, that's the sorry, I didn't mean to go to your shop. I wanted to check on the princess painter. Oh man, it's been a wild beginning to the episode, huh? Wandering the tunnels and obscure pathways branching out from the Wormslayer Hall that make up the streets of Sunrock, you look for signs of the ever-jubilant painter. Even though no such sign awaits you, you easily come across the tavern they have taken up residence in. When you finally catch sight of him, you can sense that this reunion will be different. Mahadi trudges your way with his shoulders slumped. Oh no, he's upset! And his eyes downcast, his two bodyguards quietly following him. Once he reaches you, he releases a deep sigh. Then he speaks, his words lacking his signature vim and verve you have come to know him for. Oh, I'm glad it's you. Somebody has described a Vagrus that sounded an awful lot like you. Something terrible has happened, something truly terrible, he begins. It's Samira, my precious muse. She went for an evening stroll and she never made it back to the inn. Oh god, it's always something in this game. He says, almost bursting into tears. Someone must have taken her. I don't know where she is, he says, and his knees become weak, prompting him to sit on a rock. He stares at the ground in front of himself as if he has never seen it before, hands on his head. You ask questions that you direct at his bodyguards when he is too dismayed to offer a substantive response. You soon find out that Mahadi finished his painting ahead of time, so he took to frequenting some of the taverns Sunrock has to offer. Samira, who often accompanied him as well had her own evening strolls in the crowded markets, failed to return to him one night, and asking around has proven futile. Some recalled her, yet nobody could offer any insight about her current whereabouts. After some time, Mahadi appears ready to disclose details that might shed light on why such a thing might have occurred. You listen intently. Words come to the painter with significant difficulty. Back when I was painting the spires, we took part in some revelry in an inn called the Copper Pugio one night. I'm sure you've heard of it. I've actually not, but okay. It's in the Gardens district. I oft frequented that place when I wanted to blow off some steam, for I discovered that it was a nexus for like-minded individuals, all of whom are passionate about one form of the arts or another. He states, his words becoming slightly more spirited. I conversed with people I've never even met had I not decided to set foot in that place. Such a social milieu truly aids in exploring ideas and notions, he carries on, and then suddenly his countenance returns to his previous state, reflecting the sad reality of the situation. For a moment he hesitates as if searching for the right words. There was this one writer, though. He was of half-elf stock, if I recall correctly. He made odd remarks that were seldom insightful or inspiring. And with heavy breaths, Mahadi carries on. One night I was talking about Samira and how she inspires me in my dreams, assisting me in painting the most wondrous landscapes, and how she indeed possesses this magical blessing. A concerned expression clouds his features. I saw something in his eyes, a covetous glint and more, lunacy even. He started mad ravings about how I was squandering Samira's gift, smearing canvases with mere ink, if you can believe that. He said that if he had her, he'd release the greatest opus the Riven Realms has ever seen. Then he stormed out of the inn. I'm sure that it is him who snatched her up. Who else could it be? He asks rhetorically, and then pauses before looking you in the eye. Please, please find her. I cannot live without knowing that she's safe. I need to know. I beg of you, he beseeches, his desperation evident. After that, nothing further of note is explained. It is clear, however, that Mahadi is not going to be able to carry on, not in this state. Finding Samira is of the utmost concern, and Devon's Copper Pugio would prove a good place to start investigating the matter. For now, the painter and his bodyguards pack up and you join your comitatus. Alrighty, we're going back to Devon. As unfortunate, because I have some things to take to Avernum. And Ash. Oh no. Man, we're gonna piss off some people, aren't we? Do you think it'd be fine to go You know what? We're gonna hold on, my man. We'll get back to Devon. Just you hold on. We're gonna run out to Ash and Avernum real quick here, because I don't want to take the rep hit that it would entail. So we're gonna go as fast as possible. This has taken an interesting turn. I thought it was a little too easy to just assume that we would take this guy to like 5 different places and then, you know, he'd paint his stuff and call it a day. That just seemed too straightforward for Vagrus, the Riven Realms. There's always a catch. All right, let's turn these guys in. 1, 2. Anything to take to Avernum? We'll grab these Devon ones on the way back for sure. Yeah, none for Avernum. So let's just keep on trucking. Or none for Devon, sorry. Did I say Avernum? Anyway, you know what I meant. I think we should have enough supplies to get to Avernum. How far away is Avernum? 6 to 8 days? Are you kidding me? Well, we can definitely hit Amphalat, and they have supplies there. Let's try and blot out the voices. We did succeed. We lost a little bit of our morale, but that's fine. We'll get it back with full camping. 2 days left. Might take some forced marching. Still haven't succeeded. Nope, we'll be able to get there tomorrow. Okay, send them out again. They can't fail forever, but they certainly can try. All right, give me all your supplies. I need them. Do you have anything to take with you? You sure don't. Conquer missions, of all things. Get our movement boost. And I think we're 2 days out from Avernum, so we do have a little extra supplies, thankfully. Thank you, Amphalat, for being a grateful host. Or a helpful host. Probably not grateful, since I was the one that should be grateful. Anyway, approach the guards, nothing to hide. Don't pay any taxes. Taxes are for suckers. Turn these 3 things in. Cool. Turn around. Take this mission to Ash. We'll take anything for Ash, Devon, or Sunrock. Lots of stuff for Ash, surprisingly. Could take something from for Torzag's shelter, even. Is it a lot of metal? Sure is. Although we don't know where we're going after Devon, so we really shouldn't get ourselves stuck in that deeply with something like that. We're gonna buy all of the supplies they have, and then I'm gonna yeet 2 of these beasts of burden. Just because they're not doing anything for us. So let's go ahead and leave again. The fastest Avernum mission to date. We'll run back through Amphalat just in case I have some extra supplies, since it always takes like 2 days to get there anyway. Let's not go inside just yet. We'll rest, and then we'll go inside, because that'll give them another day to generate a few more mushrooms for me. All right, now we can head out. Send our dudes just in case. Still failed. What is that, 4 in a row? I suppose that, like, we've been running at like 20 or 12%, right? That's probably like 1 out of every 5 to 6 times they should succeed. Certainly doesn't seem that way. But maybe I should just invest in better stats that yield foraging. I know the scouts are for hunting. The scouts never really seemed to work out for me, though, when I was trying to hunt with them. I don't know if it's there was something I was missing there or what. So Sunrock is like 4 days away, 8 days away. We have 6 days of food. We could probably make it. I guess it'll depend. So turn you 3 in, actually. Now take this. It's illicit contraband, but we're good at that stuff. All right. Do we buy more supplies? Why don't we buy a full, yeah, I was gonna say, let's fill out this stack, and then I think that we should be able to call that good, and we can make it to Devon on that. Road time. All right, that was like a 10-minute diversion to go over to Avernum and back to Devon. Not too bad. We'll be able to pop into Sunrock on the way and see if there's any additional cargo that needs transporting. Holy crap, and we're back well above 22,000. I'm glad I took all that stuff out to Avernum. That was well worth it, money-wise anyway. All right, into Sunrock. What do you guys got for me? Not to Avernum, we were looking for Devon. Devon only, because anything beyond Devon, we might not have, like, we might be going elsewhere in the wasteland, so I don't want to get stuck with anything that is not where we're expressly going. We should have plenty of supplies to get there. It was the Copper Pugio. Maybe I have gone to the Copper Pugio. That name sounds like weirdly familiar. Maybe I like met with one of the dark elves there like ages ago. You remember Vrak, the guy who was haunted by ghosts? And we like cured him like 40 episodes ago? I can't believe I'm still playing this game. Not that the game is bad, it's just like the game has so much in it. When I first started recording this was like the first thing I ever did on YouTube, and I'm like, this will be fun. And it's like a year later, not quite, but like a lot of time later. It's kind of wild, very fun for me to think about. Into the city, we must smuggle in our goods. We've done so. And then head to the Manzio. We'll turn all these in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back up to 2,200 almost. Great. Very low on supplies, but we'll deck ourselves out with supplies once we figure out what's happening at the Copper Pugio. Okay, so nestled at the end of a quiet street filled with art galleries and craftsmen's shops sits the Copper Pugio, a fine establishment frequented mostly by local socialites and artists, as well as intriguing travelers. As expected, prices are higher and the decor is niche, comprised mostly of imperial mosaics, luminescent crystal lamps, and bronze statues. The scent of quality food flows from the kitchen, while soft music from a small band of minstrels soothes the mind. We could ask about the half-elfin writer Mahadi al-Safar mentioned, but there's this woman sitting at a table staring at what looks like a model of the spires. That's very interesting. The young woman looks up from the model and notices you. Around the miniature spires carved from bone and soft rock are notes on parchments as well as a few books. Her mug of Tarkian coffee is long gone cold by the looks of it. You ask her about the model in front of her, saying that you are curious, having seen the jet black monuments yourself from up close. Ah yes, I'm a journeyman from the Imperial University in the capital, she tells you with a knowing smile. I'm studying to become an architect. Sorry, I thought you were someone else. Anyway, they do this to us. They send us away for years. We visit edifices and buildings all across the Empire, you see. Coming to the spires is somewhat of a tradition in my faculty. You ask her what if she saw anything others have not. Not a chance, she chortles. I mean, these bloody things were documented in minute detail, except when it comes to their origins, of course, or their design. I'm sure you've heard the tales about how the Emperor himself came up with the plans, but come on, is it really possible that he was an architect too, of this magnitude? And even so, how did he or his crews create the material? I mean, nothing remotely similar exists anywhere else. I'm not sure I buy what the historical records are selling. You ask her if Imperial surveyors have managed to dig under the edifice, perhaps. They sure did, she smiles as she lifts a single spire model from the table and observes it as if seeing it for the first time. The spires go down a half mile and are based on solid rock. That is so deep. They dug a half mile into the earth? Nothing else is down there, well, except for some very old tunnels, possibly dug by the unfortunates who turned into wraiths after the calamity. Some lunatics even suggest that their change is what's somehow tied to the spires, but I think that's just grasping for straws. You discuss the strange monuments, but nothing tangible comes up, and after a while you take your leave. Oh, okay, interesting. We got some codex interest. Ask about the half-elven writer now. Under the luminescent light of the Copper Puggio's crystal lamps, you and your companions chat with many a socialite, craftsman, and artist. A great many patrons have heard of Mahadi, recalling the bright-eyed painter with reverence despite his eccentric and occasionally pretentious mannerisms. Some extol his virtues as a master of his craft, though none can speak of any writer, only the princely painter and his genius. After more than an hour of discussing the matters with various people, you begin to give up. Just then, a trio of ostentatiously dressed sculptors approach you, apparently having overheard the earlier conversations. A bespectacled fellow in flowing robes functions as their mouthpiece. Yes, hello, Vagrus. Yes, we met a few days back. I haven't been here for like weeks, sir. Strange sort, I tell you. Oh, we met him here. I thought you said me. I need to learn how to read. Strange sort, I tell you. Wouldn't stop talking about his new book. It was positively exhausting, the man declares, gesticulating wildly to denote his frustration. You tell the robe man to elaborate, but before he can, he is cut off by another of their group. He is lithe but slight, his perfectly tailored clothes indicating a flair for fashion as well as the coins to back it up. The fool tried to sell me drugs, the graceful Imperial says, folding his arms. Moon dust, can you believe it? Right here in the Puggio. How uncouth. When I told him where to put his offer, he became angry and spoke of wraiths or some such. Stormed out. Good riddance, I say, he exclaims. Engaging the trio for some time, you learn at length that the writer, indeed a half-elf, did not speak of any woman or muse, but instead bragged about how he had overcome his writer's block, putting him on an inevitable path to greatness and the publishing of his brilliant new book. The conversation is a lengthy one, but as it comes to a close, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Whoever he is, the writer seems to have some affiliation with a faction of wraiths in Devon's Hintercaves. Perhaps there you can track him down. All right, let us go to the Hintercaves. Ta-da! The Dark Elf Colony? No. The Wraith Slums? Yes. Seek information about the half-elf writer from the local raids. We will pay them 3 bros because I am a generous person and I have a ridiculous amount of money. One need not journey far for a little information in the slums. A gaggle of the diminutive pale-skinned creatures loitering in any alley soon reveals that they have heard of the writer. They describe him as a haggard, disheveled, but are clear that that learning where he dwells will cost you. Why don't we do one? I don't want to overpay. Because they might, like, rob me if I'm like, this dude's a rich man. As you hand over the silver, you are hit with a distinct impression that this is not the first time the pale-skinned corpse-eaters have been asked about this writer. They snicker between furtive glances as if they are all in on some amusing joke that you are not privy to. Nonetheless, you get what you need. The half-elf resides in a cavernous hall nearby. It is reachable through a narrow, twisting passage, and at least according to the wraiths, there is a small stone structure built into the rock at its end. With all the information you need, you take your leave of the sickly gaggle. Most of the Hintercaves is taken up by the squalid neighborhood of the city's many wraiths. Let us find the writer's kit. Can I sell anything here? This is where you can sell illegal stuff. This is good to know. I'm sure I knew that at one point in my life. Find the writer's kit that the wraith spoke of. Mahadi al-Safar and his bodyguards will accompany you. Just as the wraiths called it, the writer's kip at the end of a long passage is confined by constricting rocks. A door of shoddy workmanship shuts out in front, leading to a dwelling that appears to be half man-made, half rock-face. You will get a little closer and inspect the entrance before barging in. Assemble a team of your best and move towards the door. We can take 6 people, so it's our team of aces. Ta-da! Elani doesn't mind killing humans or elves. Just animals. Even though some wraiths helped you get here, their true intentions remain unknown. You could be robbed or attacked at any moment, with little hope for escaping from the depths. With this in mind, you furtively make your way to the door, only to hear raised voices coming from within. Mahadi looks aghast when he hears it, and quickly makes clear that he would prefer to stay outside under the watchful presence of his Hanjari bodyguards. If you don't mind, Vagrus, I would prefer not to be a part of whatever is going on in there, he whispers in a low, terrified voice. Besides, I abhor violence. I'm sure you understand, he adds, visibly cringing at the mere thought of conflict. You placate Mahadi and agree to let him and his guards wait outside. Afterward, you barge in. You bust through the door in an animated scene in a dingy, dilapidated kip. It looks like something out of the underworld. Stonework strained by decay, scrolls strewn about, and seedy molded rock walls that have all manner of fungi growing upon them. At the end of the room are 2 closed doors, and on your left is a ruined desk where 2 men are deep in the throes of a heated argument. The man sitting at the desk is clearly of half-elf stock, while while the one standing next to him is a Tarkian, towering man of wiry muscle and agility. His bald head is a pristine sheen, and immaculately trimmed mustache curls at the edges of his mouth. He has drawn a curved blade and bears down on the rider. Oh no! A bearded, disheveled fellow with glazed eyes. They both turn to you in your komis, visibly befuddled by your apparent arrival. The half-elf rises from his desk, gesturing emphatically at the Tarkian man in his menacing demeanor. His eyes have taken on a fanatical glint. Stranger, please, this man seeks to attack me in my own home. Bring him down and we shall call for the authorities at once. I seek only to work in peace. He speaks of some woman, a girl I've never met in my life. I've never heard of in my life, I swear. Seeing the half-elf's plea, the Tarkian relaxes somewhat, his features becoming calmer. A handsome face is revealed, marred only by an ugly scar on his right cheek. You know full well of whom I speak, Silovir, the Tarkian booms, his voice commanding. Stranger, or should I say Vagrus, I have heard of you, or we have not met, but we have not met. This wretch of a man has taken from me my love. Do not listen to his lies. His words are poison. Oh, this is probably that guy they said that she was in love with. Back in the day, in Cobber. I forgot his name. You shift your gaze between the two men, trying to make sense of the situation. Tackle the Tarkian. Back up the Tarkian and make an attempt to restrain the half-elf. I think this guy is the guy. Mighty dexterous. I don't want to tackle this guy. You coordinate your efforts with the Tarkian, but the attempt to apprehend the half-elf falls short. The man snatches up a pouch from his desk, unleashing a cloud. Whoa! A cloud of silvery dust with a flick of a wrist. The dust clouds your vision and stings your eyes, forcing you and your newfound friend to recoil temporarily. Using this moment, the half-elf flees with haste, but you can only barely make him out. Everyone else is still recovering, blinking wildly, including you. To arms! You hear the Tarkian man bellow, and he begins the pursuit, apparently having overcome the effects of the dust cloud first. You and your companions are next to follow, and soon you are giving chase through the right side door with the rider rushed past. Once you emerge on the other side, you can see a massive cavern sprawl up before you. Hisses come from its tenebrous subterranean depths. Wraiths appear from the darkness, gnashing razor-like teeth and peering at you with bulbous black eyes. Yet the Tarkian rushes to meet them, carving and slashing in a frantic frenzy as they bay for his blood. He battles two of them, and from what you can see is holding his own. Three more of their number scuttle in the direction of you and your companions. In the distance, you can now make out the half-elf bolting towards the far end of the cavern, a large rucksack hanging from his shoulder. The disheveled, bearded fellow runs like the wind. There is no time to track him, however, for the rays are upon you. Fight them. There's only 4 of them. Or 3 of them. I can't count. They're also hard to hit from what I remember, so we have to be ready for that. Haha! You can't stab me. Alright, lock this guy in place. Lock this guy in place. Alright, you hit that guy, at least. A lethal lunge did some damage that time. Rush forward. Good hit. Krifta, please don't miss. It was too much to ask. Alright, we hit the wrong one. And then axe this guy. Good job. I figured they'd have better initiative than me, so I'm not super surprised. Nice block. Man, oh man, Elani. She is a low level though. Dang, I'm surprised Krifta can't hit them, because she has pretty good attack. Also, I'm kind of shocked that we have missed like 3 in a row, because like, don't they get a debuff to evasion every time I attack them or something? Or they successfully evade? Perhaps not. All right, 2 are down, 1 to go. Everybody focus fire. Krifta is 0 for 3. Oh, crit to end the battle is great. I think only Skornar got hit there. He's fine, he'll rub it off. When the raids are no more than pale corpses on the ground, you regroup with the Tarkian, who seems to have understood the same fact you have. The half-elf got away. Numerous passages lead into the darkness from the main cavern, though you cannot be sure which one he took. Worse, it does not pay to linger here, not with more raids potentially lurking nearby, or already on their way here. As if to break your reverie, the Tarkian speaks, reminding you of the goal at hand. I am called Aid. Whatever happened here, we must find my Samira. We are to be betrothed, he states simply before uttering a soft prayer to Anubis. She may be in the other room, though that sick bastard may have killed or fed her to these wretches for all we know. Indeed, it is a grim prospect, but they may hold some merit. Not wanting to think further on the matter, you make your way back to the small hovel's main lodge, back to a sea of scrolls and rotting wood. Once you confirm that there is somebody else on the other side of the door, Aid is momentarily elated. He's convinced that it is Samira, though there is no response. Just movement. He tells whoever may be on the other side to stand back. Then after a brief wait, he uses his massive frame to smash through the door. Oh, she's right there! The door crashes in to reveal a disgustingly dilapidated chamber. A small sordid bed dominates the room, and a foul stench coats the air. Samira Al-Murad is here, bound and gagged, puffy eyes streaked with tears, marring an otherwise beautiful visage. My love! My love! Aid cries out, rushing towards her. He swiftly rips off her gag and produces a knife to cut her bindings. Aid, you came! Anubis above, how is it that you are here? And where is Mahadi? She exclaims, clearly still in shock. All will be explained, my love. Come now, I will protect you, he murmurs on the verge of tears himself. Samira falls forward into his embrace, wrapping her arms around Aid, weeping uncontrollably. What follows is a reunion of sorts, then open dialogue about the woes Samira endured, the unthinkably long distances Aid apparently traveled to be here, and about Mahadi al-Safar himself, for whom it seems neither Aid nor Samira bears any ill will. These two, you soon realize, are really long-lost lovers. Aid is the happier of the two. You notice a measure of uncertainty and the pain in the young woman's eyes. She has been through much and knows not what her fate will be, so she remains timid, withdrawn even. With the two lovers reunited, all that remains is to make contact with Mahadi. God willing, he remains safe outside the kip. Out of the corner of your eye, you spy a large book on the floor. It is curiously titled On the Merits of Wraiths, and the letters on its cover read. It looks damp and its appears worn by time and decay. I will take the book. You open the book, curious to peruse its contents. Many parts have had their ink washed away, but one chapter, dubbed A Wraith's Desires, make for interesting reading, revealing the book to be questionable and derogatory treatise on the nature of these diminutive humanoids. A hearty piece of prose comes to the fore. Wraiths are described as exceedingly greedy, seeking riches above all else. Were one to convince them of a relatively simple scheme for making money or other valuables, especially one they perceive they can double-cross you on, then they will follow you regardless of your race or background. Their unsavory habits must be tolerated, the author goes on, recommending even their appetites be well satiated at all times, lest their tenuous loyalty might waver. A poignant paragraph sticks out as particularly scheming. With Wraiths, one must understand the potential disloyalty that is always present. Certain alchemical substances, like moondust mixed with acorane seeds, can prove useful to lull them into more leal servants. Needless to say, our little friends are enterprising individuals who thrive in the darkness of the caves. They also serve as remarkable attack dogs when under duress, as few would dare face down such brutal and agile creatures in the darkness where they can see perfectly well. Above all else, remember that the Wraiths are essentially a tribal race. It is in their nature to form gangs and do the bidding of their paymasters. With a little light shed on what happened here, you close the book. Neither you nor your companions recognize the author, but one thing is certain, it is not the health writer. You close the book. Yikes. Ask the couple about their relationship? Ask Samir about what happened. Samira looks hesitant at first. It is clear she will need some time to fully recover, but she bites down on her lip as if manifesting some kind of inner strength. Then she speaks, her dark green eyes determined. They took me in Sunrock. It was a beautiful little town, you know, and the many tunnels that weave through it are truly astounding. She comments, apparently desperate to channel positivity. I was strolling one such tunnel and felt a hand grasp my waist. Then there was darkness. When I awoke, we were camped somewhere in the jagged waste, and not far from the road, but far enough. She pauses, her eyes avoiding both Aid's and your own. Gaze and your own. Tears form at the thought of whatever memory she is trying to recall, and Aid's face becomes clouded by concern. So he draws his love closer and kisses her forehead between dark strands of her frazzled hair. Did they defile you, my love? He asks softly, concerned. No, Aid, she blurts out, glowering before apologizing for her outburst. They wanted to. I overheard them talking about it in camp one night, but in the end they couldn't. Silivir had forbidden it, apparently. He said he would feed them to the Wraiths if they tried it, she said, frowning. Then what did they do? Aid responds. They fed me some moon dust, morning, day, and night. I was lost in a drug-induced stupor for days. I saw things, terrible things. And when we arrived in Devon, I met Silivir. I thought he would take me, or at least keep feeding me that horrible moon dust, but he did not. He only wished to speak of his book. He insisted I sleep in his bed with him, but he did not rape me. Thank God. No, I do not understand the man. His fury only manifested when I tried to escape. After I did that, he had me bound and gagged in this room where I've been ever since. You're safe now, my love. Praise Anubis that we found you, Aid states, pulling her close again. You thank Samira for sharing her story. Samira and Aid seem inseparable. Samira's spirits have been uplifted by her rescue, and Aid watches her with an infatuated adulation beneath a handsome roguish visage. Inquire about How in Tartarus Aid managed to track down Samira? He rubs his chin thoughtfully before beginning. Samira has been working at the behest of Mahadi and Prince Faisal for some time now. Too long, if you ask me, he states firmly. Samira's countenance shifts to one of uncertainty. It was just one more journey, Aid, she says softly, and the Tarkian man sighs. I knew this would be the last one, but I could not take it. A premonition came to me in a dream, one where my love had been felled by assassins. I do not believe in fate. I thought I could change it, so I set out to reach her, no matter the cost. The story remains incomplete, so you push Aid on the logistics of it. You are spoken of in Kabur already, Vagrus. Quite a few know of your ability to pass into the outer realms and out over here, he explains. I knew the route you would take with Mahadi and Samira. I learned the details of it from blathering palace servants soon afterward. I knew that you would find yourself in these lands in time, but how to get here by myself, he asks rhetorically. The coast was the only answer. Both Samira and I once had abolitionist friends here, so I sought passage with Bandul through the Falduldak Mountains to reach the sea. Once I touched base with our old pirate friends, I was able to sail along Zarin's western coast, eventually reaching Bergen's Landing far to the south. It is right in the heart of Dragmalak. Aid divulges as his lips twirled mustache form a dashing smile. He pauses for a moment, seemingly aware of the length of his story. Should I go on? No, that's fine. I kind of understand. Cool that the pirates are kind of cool. I wish we could go sailing on a pirate ship. Ask about their relationship and how they met. Samira is the first to chime in. We were sweethearts from a young age, she admits, allowing herself a knowing smile. Father always sought to break us apart, but I like to imagine he only did it in jest or to test us. Even then, untroubled by the woes of the Empire and Tark, it was always clear that we were going to be together. The lady does not lie, Vagrus, Aid offers, flashing a roguish smile. The trials and tribulations came once we got into bed with the abolitionists. Most Tanjari do not take kindly to the idea of ending or softening slavery. Samira nods, a worried expression suddenly clouding her features. Sensing her discomfort, Aid brings the story to a close. But that's a story for another time, perhaps, he says with finality. You thank them for sharing. Let's head back to the lounge. With Aid and Samira in hand, you move back into the lounge and stand with at the half-elf's desk. The place is littered with scrolls and strange silvery dust covers everything. You also note that many small pouches are spread around the room, and an astute observer can hazard a reasonable guess at their contents. We need to find Mahadi now, Aid comments, refocusing your attention. You can see Samira nodding along. Just then, as if on cue, Mahadi and his bodyguards enter the lounge, and the painter spreads his arms, his words spilling forth. Samira, darling, God's blessed that you are alive. I was worried sick. I heard violence and elected to stay outside. After that, I thought I'd make an appearance, he says sheepily and glances at the warrior. Aid, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Kabur. Never mind that. We have much to speak about, Aid states with some authority, and you see that fanatic glint that was present in his eyes earlier. This is the end of Samira's journey. Her debt has been paid. She will travel no farther, and you will have to paint without her. Is that clear? Quite clear, Mahadi offers timidly. Though it is regrettable, I can go on without her. Though I should think the lady is able to speak for herself, yes? Aid retreats into his thoughts momentarily, and Samira struggles to answer. I do not know, Aid. The rest of this journey, it is not much. You can protect me, and I will be protected by the shamans in Sadirar, too. Then we can be free of this debt forever. Ever my protector, right, my love? No, Samira, I cannot lose you again. The danger is too grave, Aid pleads with her, frowning. We could disappear altogether. Nobody would find us, and we could be free at last. Samira bites her lip and casts her gaze towards you, seeking guidance. I mean... She said he could come along, right? Yeah, he'll come along, and I'll be there. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's gained loyalty. Good job, team. You can't be serious, Aid growls, his eyes coming to fanatical life. She damn near died here, and you want to continue dragging her along for the sake of this worthless art? Mahadi steps forward, spreading his arms. It seems he wishes to comment, but he is cut short. Besides himself, Aid draws his blade once more, leveling it at Mahadi with malevolent intent. The princely painter's bodyguards step forward too. They are ready to defend their master. Playing the diplomat, you call for calm, and Aid backs away at length, sheathing his blade. He must know that he stands little chance against Mahadi's guards, especially were you to send your komes in to back them up. Almost surprisingly, Samira pipes up, her tone strong and confident in contrast to her typical demeanor. Aid, please. The Vagrus helped you save me, and I really think you are being quite uncouth. Besides, no harm will come to me with you by my side, too, she pleads. Aye, my North Star, Aid agrees, setting his eyes back on his lover once more. Then I shall never leave your side. Vagrus, if this course turns out to be folly, ending in the bloodshed I saw in my dreams, then I will hold you and Mahadi personally responsible. Then it is decided, Mahadi responds, his tone almost jovial. Let us leave for our next stop, Sadirar village at once. When I have painted my last painting, you and Samira shall set off wherever you desire, and Prince Faisal will be pleased with all of us. Aid does not comment, but stays by Samira's side as the company is ready to leave together. Afterward, you gather up anything of value from the kip. Cool. You take... Oh, I see. It is not long before you realize what the half-elf was truly doing here, aside from writing his book at least. He was clearly selling or consuming moon dust. Small pouches of it, ample coin, and various small trinkets of wealth litter the dilapidated hovel. Just what part of the rays you talked to and the ones you fought played in all this is open to speculation, and some theories seem more likely than others. When all is said and done, everyone leaves. You take everything and make your way back to the Comitatus with the loot and Mahadi's small entourage. You may take everything but the drugs and make your way back to the Comitatus. Take it all. I don't mind taking moon dust. Whatever. All right, well, that was interesting. Look, we gotta go to Sanirar, I guess. Good news is I have the stuff necessary to be admitted, I think. So we'll have to come up here. Oh, not that one. We'll have to come in here for the Trial of Flame, and then we'll have to pop by the Writhing Oasis to meet up with the water people. But we'll do that. We'll start heading that way next time. I guess we'll see how far we get. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus to the Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!